Good morning or good evening.
Hello.
Okay. How are you, Alex?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just to let you know really quickly, there's like a need for a passcode today, and there wasn't a need yesterday.
Oh,
You know,
what's
when I was
the
joining Zoom.
really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have it? Can you pop it in the group for everyone and make an announcement?
It's on your invite, it's on there.
That's annoying. Thank you for that. Hopefully, okay, so people have it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me just I'm going to pause the recording for a sec and get. All right, so who enjoyed yesterday? Who got something out of constraints? Who did the worksheet? And who's excited for today? So important we look at where your business is leaking. I'm going to speak to you a little bit more about the constraint stuff toward the end of this and how we can go even deeper with the constraints. Um, because honestly, you guys, this is a definite missing piece. Um, it's really interesting. Like even being in masterminds, it's like, you know, we I fly all over the world to go to these retreats with these entrepreneurs, and it's like we do hot seats and all the things, and it's really interesting to me because the one thing that we don't really talk about, even in the hot seats, are constraints, and it blows my mind. In spite of my jazzy fake background, I'm actually sitting on my deck. How funny. That's fine. Oh, it's glad. Hello, Aurora. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being interactive. Let us know what your main takeaways were from day one. Now, day two is going to be pretty cool because we're going to be talking about this ecosystem, right? Um, so, day one, we spoke about the constraints. Day two, we're going to tell you the ecosystem. Now, this is really important. And Alex, you're seeing this a lot even with your current clients, right? Like they're wanting to go, they're wanting to launch the low ticket funnel. You have a story even right now with one where it's like, oh, they're doing really good in some aspects, but the low ticket funnels are struggling at the moment. What are you seeing with that?
Um, so like yesterday we've touched on it a little bit, like how the messaging, especially, from the guru that, and like I get it, like it's so incredible because the messages get back what you spend in ads by selling your low ticket offer. So people hear it and it's like, wow, that's amazing. Like, yes, I want it. Like I want to spend $50 and get $50 back. Um, just really quick, you're recording. Yeah, all
Yeah.
good. So 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 that makes for like this beautiful thing, like but then people do it and they follow everything and they do the messaging and then it just doesn't happen. And I always say to clients, right, let's try it because we don't know where your audience is at. And sometimes I'm presently surprised because the warm audience has been building, and then we put on something like a low ticket, it just sells. But
Mm,
more often than not, it's just not hitting 100% profitability. But it's not the story that's being told.
yeah.
Um, so and like a little bit like we touched on yesterday, the reason for it is because the warm audiences are just not there. So when you go cold, when you don't have enough of data points, for Meta to go at, what happens is it will just try to find you your people. Let's get something straight. Like all of those advertising platforms like Meta, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, they want more of your money. So they want to find your clients, right? But because they don't have the data points, they just go blind. So they don't quite know like which way they're gonna stumble, and that's why it takes a minute before you see any sales,
Yeah.
and then once you do, you basically get to like 50% profitability or 60 or 70%. Or if you're like really hot and you sell something mass market, you might go nearer to 100%. That I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm just saying it's quite hard, especially if you are in business coaching, if you're in health coaching. It's a very saturated market with low ticket.
Yeah. So this is why this is important to have an ecosystem set up where you're not spending a lot of money, but you're casting the net out there, you're pulling your people in, you're warming them up through permanent content fixtures, and you're spitting them out the other side, ready-made buyers. This is what we refer to as like a demand creation machine, right? And it's very tailored, it's very honed in, and instead of Meta trying to cast its net out there and find your people and you spending all your money trying to work that out. And trust me, I've casted the net out there. They pulled people in and they were not the right people as well. We build something really honed in that does this for you. So, and again, this is a story we want you to understand that these funnels, these low ticket funnels, they're not the thing going out there creating the demand for you. They harvest the demand. And this is a side people don't say. They're screaming the victory lap, the $1 million months or whatever. But if you see people talking about my low ticket funnel did $1 million in a month, and they're not replicating those results month after month after month, it's so obvious that it simply went and harvested all the demand they created in that 1 month. And then of course it fell off a cliff again. So how do we prevent that? And that's why Alex and I are here.
Yeah.
Cool. Did I miss anything with that?
No, all good.
Cool. All right. So today we're going to reveal the ecosystem. And this is exactly what the ecosystem does, right? It builds demand. It builds demand. We did the constraints. You need to plug the leaks. If you're ready to scale and you want to scale big, you do this first, and then you build something that creates demand. Now, Alex, I don't know, do you want to explain this part to people? When most people are going for conversion campaigns, you're asking people, the conversion campaigns are the campaigns where you're asking people to buy something. This is the most competitive lead, isn't it?
Yeah. So like if you think about it, like the way algorithm is set up, it basically has like three elements. Like one is reach, one is engagement, and one is conversion. And conversion is where everyone wants to play because Meta knows so much about us. Like I can't stress this enough. It literally knows quite intimate details of what we are about. It has a lot of data points, and because of it, it knows, like, for example, what are you into? What are you more likely to buy? Are you even into buying from an advert? And once you do it once, it knows that you've done it. So it's more likely to serve you ads that are basically encouraging buying behavior. And like, so I give you this example, right? It's like not everybody is gonna buy 5K bag, for example, from an advert, right? But because Meta knows that there are people out there who would buy a bag from an advert, this is what they are being served.
Mm.
And vast majority will just get like awareness advert, like when you get those Chanel ads or Dior or whatever, they just there for awareness. But those companies also run another tier, which is basically encouraging purchase, right? But those adverts are getting served to people who are more likely to follow that behavior. So it's super competitive. This is the conversion is where everybody plays, like all the e-com shops, the coaching niches, everybody who wants a customer is playing there. So because it's an auction model again, it is basically like the one who spends the most is the one who's going to get in front of those people, right? So like what we're going to share with you today is like it's almost like a way around it,
Mm.
where you get in front of those customers, but you are not necessarily spending, 20, 30, 100 grand to get there.
Yeah, this is the magic sauce, right? So if we understand the data behind this, 2 to 3% of people in any given space are ready to buy now, which means 98% of people are not. And those 2 to 3% of people, and this to summarize what Alex said, are the ones that are the most expensive because everyone's competing for their attention, right? And so
Yeah.
what happens if we, instead of going after those 2 to 3% of people who we know are ready to buy now, what if we go after the 98% of people who aren't quite aware? Maybe they don't know, maybe they're not quite ready. What if we pull those people in, which are the cheaper leads, we capture their attention, we move them through an ecosystem, and we make our own 2 to 3%? This is what this
Yeah.
ecosystem does, and this is why this is so wildly powerful. Not to mention, I think there was a statistic that came out of Google where they need to 5 to 7 hours of content, all of this stuff. Again, this ecosystem is a big tick. It satisfies that need because it's a permanent content fixture, and we'll explain exactly what that looks like in just a second. But just quickly, does everyone understand what we're saying? Give me a yes in the comments, because if not, we want to just we want to move you through this piece by piece, so you're getting the power of what this actually does, right? Give me a yes in the or give me a not quite there yet, Sarah, not sure. Ask questions, right? This is what Alex and I are doing this live. We could send you recordings, but we want you to understand like the power in this. Yes, almost. If you haven't, I think so. Okay, we can sit in this for a second longer. So we're no longer competing for the most expensive leads, right? We're not going after those the ecosystem we build for people. We're going to go after the people who are like, yeah, I'm interested. We pull them in and we make them ready to buy.
Yeah.
Very simplistically. But if you have any questions around this, please jump off mute and ask. Okay. So, I feel like, am I missing anything with this, Alex? I feel like
No.
this is it. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you what this actually looks like. Okay. So not only is this pulling the people in, right? It's moving them through different layers of content, and the content is very targeted, very specific, very scripted in how you speak to them. It's all psychological and all the things hitting all the points. And what this does is it builds something called demand, right? What Meta does is every time you get somebody who's watching a percentage of your content, so these pieces of content are what is called long form content. So it's several minutes long. It's not going to be your 30-second, your 1 minute piece of content that people are just churning through. These are long form pieces of content. Now, if you capture somebody's attention for at least 25% of that video or more, Meta's gonna, we specifically tailor this ecosystem so Meta tags every single human that watches that, because we know they're interested. If they're gonna give you their attention, they're your person, because the scroll, everyone, what you have like a second to just capture somebody. Let me know if I'm missing anything with this, Alex.
Yeah.
And so what this is actually doing, it's building something called an invisible list. And the more data that Meta gathers around these people who we've captured, the bigger this list gets, the more targeted and the more refined this invisible list becomes. And we call it an invisible list because we're not asking for their email, we're not asking for any details, we're just tagging each human who has been watching your content. And so what this ecosystem is it's technically 3 different layers of content. Each of these little videos represents a piece of content, and I'll break down what the content is in each video. You have the first layer, and this is all value, and this is again modeling what Alex Hormozi and Layla did, right? For several years, they just gave value. Everyone's seeing them everywhere. Like, why are they ever, who are these people? Like, because you see them everywhere, it gives them great authority and great credibility. And so the first layer of content that we go out, we cast these 7 videos out to the 98% of people who aren't quite aware of you yet. We pull them in to this ecosystem and we weave them through this content. Now, each of these videos are different, so then we're not creating fatigue. We're not creating, like, people aren't seeing the same message. They're seeing something different from you all the time. Weave them through this content, and by the time they get, and I'll explain again what each layer is, by the time they get through the bottom layer, they're like, how do I work with you, right? And then we go and harvest. Then we go and harvest the demand. But you need something that is going to be compounding demand for you over time. You need a fixture that is automated, that is compounding demand. Imagine if any business, right? If any business you ever ran, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you need something that's going to go out there and build demand for you. And that's what this ecosystem does. Let me know if I'm missing anything, Alex.
No.
Cool. Okay. So again, this is the 98% of people. We cast the net out there. We weave them through, and I call this like the signal activation. We activate them into your world. We activate them into introducing who you are, what you do, what problems you solve. You're giving them a bit like a value bomb, a piece of information, like that they're going to have this little like wow moment with you, right? And we give them from 7 different angles. So every time they're seeing you, it's something different, it's something new, it's something intriguing for them. And this is what this first layer is. So what this looks like when people come and work for us, because this is a full done for you service that Alex and I do. I write the scripts for this. It's very, very strategic. Like I said, it's very psychological. It's all the things. We come at 7 different angles. This is a permanent fixture. You record these 7 videos, and I'll tell you exactly what they involve. We're not holding anything back from you guys today. This never changes. These 7 videos never have to change unless you massively change your direction somehow. Okay, so that's a really cool thing about this. So this is going to go out and cast the net out there, move your people through. The next layer is where you come through with your organic content. So if you're posting, several times a week or whatever on Instagram and Facebook, which you should be, you don't want this to be your end-all be-all solution. You still want to be posting on Instagram and Facebook at least several times a week. What we then do is we boost the organic content that you are posting weekly to the people who have watched 25% or more of these tier 1 videos. So then we're boosting new content to these people every week. Does this make sense? Give me a yes in the comments. Alex, do you want to elaborate on this a little bit? Or is there anything to elaborate on? We want you guys to understand. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. So again,
So basically, like if you think about it, this is what omnipresence looks like. And
yeah,
if you ever like shop around for anything, this is what advertising do. Like those adverts tend to follow you around. We're just doing it in a way that is much cheaper than the example I've used with the Chanel.
yeah,
We're just using it in a way that also works for coaching, right? Because with coaching, it's I would argue everybody needs a coach because we're all going through things all the time. But like let's be honest, it's a luxury service. Like it's not something people can't live without, and I must have it. It's something that you can just get by, right? So when we're thinking about like structuring our ecosystem, for the lack of a better word, because it is ecosystem, we basically want to give our ideal clients like different messaging angles, right? So, and ultimately give them opportunity to buy from you. But it's not done in a way like you basically with your marketing guys, you want to live you basically want to mimic how it is in real life. Like when you I live in a village, so there is just one pub, and you go to the pub, and it's not like, "Hi, I'm Alex, and this is what I'm selling." You basically like you might linger for a bit. For the first time you go, you might like look around. Then the next time you go, you might say hi to somebody. You might like strike up a conversation. And a third or fourth time, you might be like, "So what you doing?" So there's like there's just more of you that they get to know, and we want to mimic that with our ads. That's basically the simplest example I can give you. And of course, like we are in business, so it's not like we are afraid of to sell, right? This is just done one one tier on top of another on top of another.
yeah, and
Okay.
it's so powerful. And also, and what I'm going to do, this is me blanketly explaining what this ecosystem is. I'm also then we're going to talk about what it actually does, because it does so much more. It does so much more in terms of lead costs and all the things. So Melissa has a question. She primarily focuses on LinkedIn. I haven't done a ton of Meta platforms, but this is our next step. So, yeah, we work with people who have done nothing on Meta in terms of ads. If that's your
Yeah.
question, Melissa. Yeah. Because this is the cheapest thing you're going to be able to build by casting your net out there. Because remember, we're not competing for the expensive leads. We're casting the net out there. We're pulling people in. This ecosystem acts as its own filtering system as well. Okay, and so you only have to spend what $500 to $700 a month to build the demand through this ecosystem. And you can of course spend more. The more layers you stack on, or the more things you plug in, obviously you're going to spend more. I'll explain what that looks like in a minute.
Yeah, I just want to caveat that because so for example, we have a client right now where like there is no warm audience. Like it's very much start from scratch.
Yeah.
So like this client is spending 1,500, but there's a reason a month. There's a reason behind it because we basically want to build up our warm audience fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's always a question back to you, right? Like, do you want to go slow? Do you want to go fast? Or do you want to go somewhere in between? Like, how set up is your business as well? Like, if you landed 5 clients next week,
Yeah.
can you service them?
Yeah.
Because a lot of businesses can't. If that was your reality, right? And then week after that, and then week after that. So we also work with you as a business.
Yes. Well, this is why we do the constraints first, right? Do you have a systems issue? Do you have let's fix it, because this ecosystem for some people works fast. For other people, it takes a minute. But we don't sell the dream like, okay, you've set this up in a month and you're going to be booked out. We have had clients within the month start landing high ticket people, right? Luckily she was ready. She was ready. So this is the thing. This is why we look at constraints first. Then we plug the ecosystem in, because now we're building you demand. Now we get to build you demand.
And also just like to very quickly like answer your question, Melissa, like is this, because I guess it goes like leads into a wider question. Is this possible? Because we focus on Meta, right? Is this possible on other platform? Yes, in my experience, on some, because I don't actually now anymore, but I did work with LinkedIn up to very recently. You need about 5 times more in terms of funds put aside for marketing, because it's, first of all, it's much smaller. Yes, it's concentrated. It's full of business owners or people in corporates. You can basically target by, so like let's say, give you an example. Let's say you're working with HR professionals only. You can just target by that, and that's it. So you're gonna get who you want, but it costs you.
Yeah.
Okay?
There. That's interesting. Very interesting. Thank you guys for the questions, by the way. Amazing. Okay. So the third tier is where I call it the conversion field, because this is where we ask for them to do something. It's called, so we ask them then for a call to action, whether you be wanting them to book a call. It obviously depends. It's very individual what the call to action is, if you have high ticket, if you have low ticket, or whatever. So we have the first 2 tiers are just giving value, right? Just casting the net out there, just getting the awareness. You're just like subliminally reprogramming yourself to see, we're seeing you everywhere. And then the last tier is where we then ask them to do a call to action. What that call to action looks like is, so we have the first tier, that's the filter content. And then we have, looks like I really broke all that down. Hold on. Let's go through this. The first tier is essentially the cold audience filter. So this is designed, the way we structure this content very specifically to help people, problem aware buyers, and then we repel everyone else, right? When people come into work with us, I have them fill out some really intensive, in-depth forms, and people are like, are illuminate, they understand their businesses a lot more and understand their positioning and their marketing so much more after doing these forms, right? So the purpose of the first layer is not entertainment, nurturing, or vanity engagement. It is to build trust fast. It is to shift beliefs, and it is to create buying intent and pre-qualifying all the leads before they ever get on a call. This is, again, the power of this ecosystem. It's pre-qualifying itself, right? So they're on a call with you. They're just like, well, how much is this, right? There's only a few little hurdles that you're going to have to overcome by the time they move through this ecosystem, because you've eradicated all of their questions in their mind. So the scripts they should call out the pain point. They should expose the hidden root problem. They introduce your proprietary framework, and you deliver immediate goodwill value. All right, you're positioning yourself so super powerfully through the first tier of your content. So, and then you position yourself. Okay, this is the accelerated path. This is a solution. So, like I said, in Function, it functions as a pre-sales indoctrination disguised as educational content. They think they're just receiving value, but you're doing all of this under the different layers of the first tier. This is why this is so powerful, you guys. And then, like I said, the second, the first tier, there's a reason why there's 7 different types of content, okay, as well for the first tier. If you guys want to take a picture of this, we can upload the slides because this stuff is important. We're not just throwing out random content as the first tier. The first tier is so crucial. So there's 7 different content types because we attack the buying decision from 7 different multiple psychological angles. Instead of repeating the same messaging over and over, each serves a different purpose in moving the cold audiences towards certainty, trust, and intent, whilst preventing messaging fatigue. Okay? So this isn't generic content, right? It is designed to, like I said, shift beliefs, qualify leads, build authority, and increase emotional relevance, because you have to activate their emotions, right? Emotions is what will activate and drive human behavior. And it positions you as the obvious solution. This is what the first tier does. So important. All right, so each of the videos, and I've also outlined what each does. So again, you can take a photo of this if you want. Video 1 is problem solver content. Video 2 is we shift the belief content. Video 3 is the intent filter. So it repels the low quality leads and it attracts serious buyers. And again, we're weaving them throughout each piece of content. 4 is authority. 5, we go into a micro problem. 6, we go into contrarian content. So this is like pattern interrupting. This is unconventional truth. People love this type of content, and Meta loves this type of content. And then 7, we look at the process and the framework, etc.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I'm fire hose blasting you guys. Let me know. We'll upload these slides as well, okay? We'll upload all of these slides. All right. And then, so after we move them through all of this, they're already leaning in, right? They're already like, wow, okay, I'm interested. This is the thing, like, I scaled my funnels after starting my Instagram from scratch, all right? Look at my following. I have under 3,000 followers, all right? Under 3,000 followers, which, like, relatively, like, when you compare what people are doing and the money people are making online versus my following and what we're doing, like, we scaled my low ticket funnels to $250,000, right? But it was because I had the demand there. Nothing to do with my Instagram following. I had the demand. Anything you want to add to that, Alex?
No, I think this is clear. So a question to you guys, if you need any clarity, really, we can go deeper, we can zoom out. Happy to explain everything.
Yeah. But you just have to understand, like, how powerful this is and what this ecosystem is actually doing, right? It's not just like, ooh, you know. And the other thing is as well, I think we see a lot of frustration with people is like, where do you start on Instagram? Where do you start with your messaging? Like, people are just constantly feeling like they're, excuse my language, throwing shit at the walls and like, oh, maybe this will land. No, we don't do that anymore, right? We hone in. We attack every different psychological angle. We're building this powerful filter that's automated and casting the net out there without you having to lift a finger, right? Except for when we boost the content, the new content that you produce every week. And so this solves so many problems that so many people are facing, right? Okay. And again, please jump in if you guys are confused or if you have any questions. So then, like I said, the tier 2 is your organic content. Your organic content. We give you a framework for this as well, okay? Because there's 4 different types of organic content that you should be posting in order to capture 100% of your audience. And I don't know if you guys realize this. So there is the Action taking, step-by-step content, like here's the how-to content, which I would refer to as action content. Here's how you, 4 steps to that type of content. There's data-driven content. Here is if you want to look at percentages of the people who have booked calls and the numbers, right? There's numbers people, there's analytical people. So you have action content, you have analytical content. You have anthropological content, so that's the psychological stuff, right? It's like, okay, from here's how you use the psychological angle to hook in your buyers if you want to understand sales. It's like, how do you understand the way people think? That's anthropological content, psychological content. And then you have inspirational content. All right, here's how I get to live. Here's how you could live too. 4 different types of content. The 4 ways people consume content. If you're only doing one type of content, you're then only hitting one type of audience. So in this tier 2 content, we teach you how to go from those 4 different perspectives. You can take one piece of content and weave it through those 4 different lenses. And now you're actually attracting 100% of your audience instead of a very small percentage. Maybe 10% of people are how-to in your audience. Maybe 25% are inspirational. You don't know that, right? You don't know that. So in tier 2, you take one theme. It could be only one theme, and you weave it through those 4 different lenses. That's a week's worth of content for you done. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Yeah, so this is the thing, right? Because like how-to content, this is what you guys have to understand. If you're doing how-to content, you're actually targeting the people at the beginning of their journey. So we need to understand, like, if you're constantly, here's how to do this, here's how to, these are people who are just entering in. And I was looking at this with our clients, where she does a lot of how-to content, and they're not quite ready to buy. And so we're moving her more into the anthropological content, the inspirational content, because those people are more advanced in their journey, and she's wanting to sell higher ticket, right? And so we got to look at all these different angles. And once we nail this, you're hitting 100% of this demand that you're building. This is where things start landing quick, right? This is where conversions start happening. Let me know if this makes sense. Anything I should add with that, Alex? I love that I have you here to be like, where am I missing anything? So I have so we use, really lean into ChatGPT with all, or Claude, whatever you use, right? So it's like, take a theme, weave it through the 4 different lenses, you're hitting 100% of your audience. You're nailing this. Really nailing this. Okay, so the conversion field, which is tier 3, the very bottom. So the tier 1 and tier 3 are the 2 layers that are permanent fixtures. You never change tier 1 and tier 3. Tier 2 is just boosting your organic content, which we weave through the different lenses. Now, so tier 3 is the book a call content, right? So this is designed as what I call the conversion field. So this is psychological sequencing for your warm, high intent prospects who are already aware of the problem, but maybe they're still a little bit more emotionally stuck before they book a call, or whatever the call to action is for you. So unlike tier 1, which is filtering and attracts the cold audience, tier 3 systematically removes the final layers of resistance that is preventing action by addressing a core buying barrier per video. And these are the core barriers per video. We have trust, simplicity, belief, safety, proof, relatability, and urgency. Again, every single video is very strategically positioned. There's a reason for each video, because each one handles a different psychological objection. So it goes from, okay, now we're interested, right? The first tier, we cast the net out. We targeted the 98% of people who are not being targeted. We moved them into your world, into your ecosystem. We were weaving them through this whole journey. And at the end, we are making them emotionally certain. What other demand could you possibly need, right? So powerful. This is why this is so powerful. The messaging is intentionally deep, emotionally precise, and identity-based, because the audience at this stage, they don't need any more information, right? They need permission, they need safety, they need certainty. So rather than selling features or outcomes directly, this sequence reframes a prospect's entire internal experience. Okay, so it makes them feel very seen by positioning the root cause mechanism as the missing piece behind why nothing else has worked. Okay, this isn't about convincing people that, okay, they need to book a call. It leads them to like, well, this is the obvious thing. You are the obvious answer. So by the time they're on the call, if they feel like they've known you forever, right? This is now you're just matching like where they're at in their journey and price points, etc. Is this making sense to everyone? Let me know in the comments. And again, these are the themes. I'm not holding anything back, right? I'm giving you the theme. For tier 3, we have the origin story. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Melissa. Yay! Cool. I love this. Like I am fire hose blasting you guys, right? We don't hold anything back. So you can take a photo of this. You have all the themes of every video here, and we can get the slides, etc. So we have the origin story, we have the epiphany, we have the why nothing else has worked, right? Like the throwing rocks. We have the hidden benefit. We have the logic and proof, we have social proof, we have the fork in the road. Okay, just gonna scan through, let me know how we are going.
It just to answer your question, Bridget, right? I was just gonna say user. Who's user? How this works as a repeatable cycle. Okay, so this is something. It's like when you first look at this, this is the bit that it's very hard to get your head around, because in online world we are so used to chopping and changing all the time and all of that. Like this ecosystem like mimics how business should be. Like it's not about chopping and changing all the time. It is actually about like building your solid foundation in your marketing so you can rely on the system to bring you clients. Okay. And this is how like it doesn't have to be like a repeatable cycle. It can just be a fixture in your business because like the way this works, it works back on your messaging, and therefore frankly, there's infinite amount of people that you can reach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like think of like even like I know like some of you thinking like, no, I have a niche product and I'm only working with so and so. Yeah, I get that. All of our clients have a niche product, all of them.
Yeah.
Their audiences like still reaching hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Okay? Because like it's not even about like limiting yourself to your like geographical borders. Like how the hell do you think Sarah and I met? Like
Yeah.
I'm in a village in the UK. Like she's in a village in Australia. Like she's basically in the future. It's already tomorrow for her. It's almost like it's so meta, this world. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't happen, but it happens. So this is I don't want you to think of this. There's a limit and you exhaust your audience and then you have to move on. Like you can't. You just can't. Like even if it was possible to exhaust, like let's say you are I don't know where you based, but like let's say you are in I think you are in Australia, I think. But like let's say you are in Australia, even if you exhaust like the people over there, you can just target another country. And that's how it is.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
guess, sorry, I've put myself off mute so that I can,
Perfect.
it's
Yeah.
easier than trying to type through it. I guess what I'm trying to get my head around, so in terms of content and that sort of stuff, so we're talking consumer journey, um, feeding people through the phases and having that as the ecosystem for your business. But in terms of the content and whatnot, and the signal activation and the phases that you're going through. So once you've done that cycle, you've got people that are already potentially ready to buy a high ticket item, but you're trying to attract new people. So that's I guess where what I'm asking.
So then so we have the new people, then we have the people who are ready, right? This is where you plug the funnels into. This is where we harvest the demand, right? This is why we fix the constraints, we have your systems in place, and then we plug in the mechanism that harvests the demand. And it's individual for each person. Does that make sense, Bridget? So like, when we're scaling low ticket funnels, right? When we're scaling, for example, I had a $17 funnel that I scaled into multiple six figures. I plugged that in, right? And every day I was scaling it. I was like spending $100 a day in ad, then 200 and 300. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to be spending $1,000 a day to harvest the demand that I've built from this, right? And that's why scaling with an ecosystem can become limitless when you're building demand like this. Right? How do you think the Maria Wints are doing the $1 million months and spending $500K a month? Because they have built such crazy demand, and they're just like, right, we see the demand is this, well then let's harvest it now at this level. So that's what scaling is. But what happens is people may have built a little bit of demand. They go in, they plug a funnel in. This is the story that, people aren't telling this side of the story. They just harvest the demand, and then their funnel falls off a cliff, and then they're tweaking their ad copy, and then they're tweaking their funnel copy, and they're like, why the hell isn't it working? I went through that journey. I pulled a really high converting funnel apart. I'm like, oh my God, because I thought it was a funnel. No, I just harvested all the demand. So if you're building a mega pool of demand, you just scale how you harvest it.
Okay, so you've got to constantly be doing the entry level stuff to be harvesting it at the end, and it's kind of all.
What do you mean by entry
Together?
level stuff?
Like as in, I guess the demand generation from finding people that are cold.
So the cool thing is, and I just want to make sure like we're on the same page. There's nothing new that there's nothing you have to really. That's okay.
So like each tier, it's taken care of by a separate ad campaign. So I just want to make that clear. It's not
Okay.
it's not something you do manually or organically or anything like that. Like this is like automation,
Okay.
baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all automated. Yeah, this is all automated. So what it looks like is
Okay.
you record these videos. Alex sets it up as a permanent fixture you don't ever touch. You don't even have to look at it if you don't ever want to.
Oh, I
Yeah.
missed that bit.
Yeah, it's the coolest
Okay.
bit, right? It's the coolest part.
Okay.
So tier 1 and tier 3, Alex sets this up in Meta, you never touch. You don't even have to, Alex manages it. And depending on what you want to spend, you may only spend $500 a month on this demand, but it depends, right? It's all people are spending more or less, whatever. So this is the cool thing. This is working whether you're awake, whether you're asleep, whether it doesn't matter. This is an automated demand building ecosystem that you don't ever have to look at, except for tier 2, right? This is where you're creating the content and we're boosting it. People are seeing you, the omnipresence that we build. Does that make sense, Bridget?
It does. It makes a lot more sense now. Thank you.
Okay, good. This is why the questions are so important, you guys. So please come off, and you're probably by doing that clarifying things for other people if we've missed it. Because Alex and I are in this, so it's like we just know this back to front. So if we're not explaining something or clarifying something, just please jump off and ask. Okay, did we miss anything there, Alex?
No, all good.
All good. Okay. All right. I'm going to just jump back. Okay. Yep. We went through all the content. And again, we can upload the slides for you guys. So does everyone know what a VSL funnel is? Give me a yes in the comments or a no if you don't. Yes if you know what a VSL funnel is. No if you don't. No, that's okay. So VSL stands for Video Sales Letter, right? Ultimately, it's a scripted video that's like, this is me. This is what I do. This is the problem I fix. Book a call. It's video sales letter. So if you're a coach, these are really, really powerful. Often what a VSL looks like is you have an opt-in page, somebody clicks on it, and then a video pops up of you, and then they're booking a call. What we do is something called a reverse VSL as the tier 3, meaning we eliminate the opt-in page. We just have the video as the ad creative, and you have 7 layers, 7 different psychological angles of this reverse VSL asking for the call to action, harvesting the demand, right? So powerful. So the bottom tier, the tier 3, is reverse VSL, meaning we don't even have an opt-in page. We eliminate them needing to click another thing. Video ad creative, book a call, ready to harvest people who are very interested. Once again, this is like what we're saying, once the ecosystem builds the demand, and we get to look at, well, what do we get to plug into this, right? Are we doing low ticket? Are we doing are we booking out your calendar, right, with high ticket clients? Like, what is it that you want to do? Then we look at the different funnels that we get to plug in. So we attract, convert, engage, sell. And this is where you get to wake up and be like, oh my God, how much money did I make while I slept? Right? You can have that. You can have that, but you got to understand what it actually takes. And this is the story. This is what Alex and I want to, bring out to the world, because we're seeing it time and time again. Funnels work, then it falls off. All these coaches doing the $1 million funnel dream, but not telling this side of the story. I mean, like Alex, we won't say any names, but you were saying again, you're like, oh my God, Sarah, I'm seeing another coach talking about this again, where they're pitching this whole dream, but they're not saying what they spend, what they're spending per day.
Yeah, so like because like sometimes when I say that, even like to my clients, I have like some clients of my own, like separate to Sarah, and I say that and I explain it that they're not listening, because they believe people who made millions that are much bigger in this whole online coaching space. Yeah, exactly. It's like spinning the dream, but and it's not like they're lying. They just forged their path, and they like way ahead. Like I'm talking years ahead. So one of my clients actually bought a course
Oh.
From one of those. Like it was quite expensive one. And then she was like, okay, can you like have a look through the ad section and just tell me what they're doing? And basically, like my jaw just dropped, because what they were doing was a version of this, not exactly the same, but basically what it was like creating demand and spending $300 a day on what I call like value content. Okay. And then the harvesting demand, that was spending $100 a day. So it was similar, different setup to what we are doing, but in a way, it was just kind of reassuring, like, okay, like they basically they this is the story here.
Yeah, but they're selling
That you can only access when you my client paid, I think that was like 3K worth of a course just to find that information.
And you've been trying to tell her this the whole time. So this is the thing. Alex gets so frustrated because clients are like, do this for me, Alex. And they're like, yeah, we can. However, there's the upstream part, right? But they're just like, no, but just do this. And sometimes they don't even go ahead because they're so bought into the victory lap dream. And Alex is, like I said in the very beginning yesterday, Alex and I are like, we don't want to be those people. Yes, it might get more likes on Instagram. Yes, they might get more short-term clients, but they are setting the wrong expectation. And therefore, when Alex is getting new clients as a media buyer, her clients aren't buying into Alex telling them what it actually takes, because they're so bought into these other people.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. So yeah. Okay, any other questions? So, and here's the other thing, right? This is where the constraint analysis is important, because we want you to understand the different levels of funnels, right? Not every funnel is going to fit your business. Some people don't actually have a demand issue. Some of our clients don't have that issue. I did a constraint analysis for a pretty well-known household name you guys probably follow. And she wanted a freebie, and there was no way, right? There's no way it's going to build her a freebie. She needs something with a little bit more friction. So this pyramid right here is showing you the least amount of friction up front versus the highest amount of friction. So for example, like a DM funnel is very low friction, right? You're going to get a lot of demand, a lot of inquiries. You might have to do a lot of sifting. And as you go up, you have the VSL, the video to the call to action. It's a little bit more friction. And then you have like an opt-in VSL where you click on the opt-in page and then you ask someone to book a call through an opt-in page. And at the very top, you have a self-liquidating funnel, which is where you're asking people to pay something up front. So you have low friction funnels, and then you move up the scale into a higher friction funnel. Depending on where your business is, will determine how we harvest demand, which again is why constraint analysis are so freaking important. This is why we don't do shiny object follow trends, okay? Because people are going to copy paste a trend realizing, oh, I have a demand issue and I'm asking somebody to do, I'm wanting to build a high friction funnel. It doesn't make sense logically.
Yeah.
So again, this is why and then eventually it might make sense, eventually, but this is why you have, Alex and I, the whole journey, looking at constraints as we go, as we move. Different constraints, and then they might not even have anything to do. It could be a skill set constraint. We have a client now. Her ecosystem is converting like crazy. We need to help her convert on the back end, meaning we need to help her with her sales calls. Right? It's another constraint. All different things. All different things. So when it comes to constraints, right? Okay. All right. So this is where I want to zoom out. So when everyone else is being told launch a funnel, let's get some leads, let's scale, while everyone else is chasing the 2 to 3% of leads that are converting, here's what you will be doing through the ecosystem, right? You are creating an ecosystem that makes low ticket funnels, or any type of funnel really, truly scalable long term, because it continuously creates demand faster than your funnel can harvest it. But it depends, right? You can scale the funnel and it will harvest. And it does, right? Instead of competing for the same 2 to 3% of conversion traffic everyone else is chasing, you'll be building an invisible pipeline of preconditioned buyers through strategically sequenced content that warms, filters, and qualifies people before they ever even hit your offer. Okay? This is why this model aggressively increases ROAS. Okay? One mentor implemented this. They spent $150K on ads and they generated $4 million, right? ROAS is return on ad spend. You want $1 in a machine and you want to get $3, $4, $5 out. This aggressively increases your return on ad spend. And what do you see in general with ROAS, Alex?
Yeah, 3 to 5 is pretty standard.
Yeah.
Like usually the higher when usually you get higher ones when you're just starting out, and when you're going for scale, that tends to drop.
Yeah.
So yeah, like for example, for um, people that are spending, 100, 150K a month, then they usually see like 3 times that back.
Yeah. But this ecosystem changes the game for your return on ad spend. Okay. So like I had a funnel that did a 10. Imagine putting $1 in a machine, getting $10 back, right? So you want to be able to scale that demand. So this will aggressively increase your return on ad spend. Why? Because we're not competing with everyone else out there. So you have, with the 7 little mini video sales letter, VSL style, direct book a call assets working simultaneously, you'll consistently be filling your calendar with high intent prospects without relying on virality, is my content gonna hit, or endless brand awareness campaigns. This is doing this, right? This is generating big mega brand awareness on your behalf. This is why my Instagram is just building itself again after I started it over. So it creates sustainable momentum, it stabilizes performance, it reduces ad fatigue, and this was another issue of mine. I had my low ticket funnel resting on one ad. Remember that, Alex?
Yeah.
It gives you the unfair advantage of manufacturing buyer intent at scale instead of hoping cold traffic converts, right? This is why this changes everything. Okay, so let me know. Do we have any comments? How do we do this on a smaller scale for an e-commerce brand? Do you want to answer that, Alex?
To be honest with you, like this isn't what we are about. Like we don't really have e-com clients. I don't have e-com clients, so
Yeah, we mostly work with service-based, But scale is about how much you're willing to spend, isn't it? Like if you
Yeah,
like,
but that's not the question. How do we do that on a small scale for ecom brand? Like I don't feel like I'm qualified to answer that, so I'm not gonna.
yeah, we're more service based coaches, healers, etc. Um, but this would, although we don't specialize in e-commerce, this does work still. Okay, so this is the expansion lab. Now, I am, yeah, of course. Again, this is like, yeah, I do service in e-com. Oh, you do service and e-com. Okay, maybe we can have a chat, like sidebar chat around this. Okay, Alex and I do have the full done for you service. This isn't what we're going to be technically selling to you or pitching to you today, because I feel like after working with people, there has been, I want this to feel really meaningful, right? I want this experience, I want what we offer for you guys to be super, super meaningful. And again, bringing it back to day one, bringing it back to yesterday, constraints is where we start, right? This is where we start. And so I'm not going to talk to you about this full done for you model today. What I am going to talk to you about is what's going to be more important for you and your business right now. And instead of like saying, okay, this is what Alex and I can build, this is the full done for you, this is what we're doing for our clients, I want to start with where you're at. I want to meet you guys with where you are at. And so what I want to talk to you about today is the constraint analysis. Now, like I said, instead of doing and pitching the full done for you, I'm going to speak to you about how I want to do an individual constraint analysis for 8 of you, okay? And so what this looks like is you and I jump on a one-on-one call. You're going to answer a questionnaire. The questionnaire is going to be super in depth, and whether it be messaging, whether it be positioning, whether it be wherever you're at in business, the ecosystem will not make sense unless I understand this aspect of your business. Maybe the ecosystem is right for you now, maybe it actually isn't, which is why I'm not going to talk to you about that at this moment in time. What I am going to speak to you about is how can we look at the inner workings of where you're at right now, and how do we help you understand what your actual next steps are. And so I'm offering up 8 spots, right? 8 spots because I want to protect my time and my energy. And we're going to go super deep into a constraint analysis. Now, when I do strategy intensives or constraint analysis for other clients, it's an hour and a half. I charge $1,500. For 8 of you, we're doing this for $297. Okay, it's going to be the lowest risk, best return on investment that you will make in your business. And if you don't feel that, I will give you your money back. That's how sure I am. So what this looks like, you'll walk away with a full customized report. It takes me about an hour to do each of these for each individual. You and I are going to jump on a call for about an hour, and we're going to go through everything. This is where I identify the leaks in your revenue. This is where I identify where there's hidden revenue that you can start like anchoring in now, working closest to the dollar. Like, how do you make money now without this ecosystem even being generated? We'll see exactly where your immediate growth opportunities are. We'll look at your positioning, we'll look at your offer stack, we'll look at all of it, right? We'll identify then the best scaling mechanism for where you're at in your business and how to implement it. So we're doing 8 of these spots. Again, we're making this pretty much zero risk. So all you have to do is book it in. And again, if you're not like happy, or if you don't think you've gotten 10 times the value from what you're spending, I won't even ask a question, full money back. That's it. We're not pitching the full ecosystem or done for you. This is what this is, because we want to be able to meet clients where they're at. I want to understand your business. Some people, maybe the ecosystem's right. Some people, maybe not quite yet. So there's no point in me selling something to you that may not be relevant for where you're at in business. So if you want one of these spots, they book out every time. Use the little QR code. You can book it in now. And then we're not offering this again until we do the next launch, whenever that is. So if you guys have questions, now is the time. And Alex, if I've missed anything, let me know.
No, great.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, I forgot. Also with this, if you jump in now or the next 24 hours, I'm going to help you build your own constraint bot, right? This is really freaking cool. Okay? This is amazing because then I'll help you understand what I know in terms of constraints. And then how would it feel for you to be able to identify your biggest bottlenecks, right? Prioritize your next moves that actually are going to move the needle. So many people are moving blind. How do you want to feel actually knowing that your next prioritized move is going to be the one that moves the needle? That's what it means to build and grow. People get so busy in their business, but they're not making the right moves. Okay, this is how you get to accelerate growth with confidence. So not only will we do a full constraint analysis, we'll do a full hour together of value. You're going to walk away with what it could be your messaging, it could be your positioning, it could be, we don't know. I don't know that yet, right? Doesn't matter. It's not, we won't even talk about like what the ecosystem looks like for you. We're going to talk about where the leaks are in your business and how do we fix that immediately. Okay? And then I'll help you build a bot that will then help you identify your bottlenecks moving forward, because there's always going to be new ones, right? And how do you prioritize what moves the needle? Do you guys understand this aspect of your business? Right? How do you know? I worked in corporate sales for 9 years, and the one thing they said, how do you work closest to the dollar? How do you work closest to the dollar? So many people don't know if they're working closest to the dollar or not. And for me, if you're wanting to scale your business in a big way, you're wanting your business to make multiple 6 figures, multiple 7 figures, you got to know this, right? This is like the basic foundations of your business. You got to know this. So important. So not only are we going to be doing a full hour, full report, this is exactly what you need to do. This is the clarity, this is the confidence, this is the direction you need to move in. I'll also help you build your own bot around all of this. So moving forward, you're not moving in the dark anymore. So this is like, when I'm speaking to Alex, how can we give the most value? It's this right here. But again, 8 spots. That's it. Until we do this again. Have I left anything out? Alex, it's like getting night. Look at you. It's like you're in the dark.
Well, yeah, it's nearly 10 o'clock for me.
Oh,
Very
okay,
late.
okay. 7:02.
But like seriously, guys, like you've seen how much value we give. There's no holding back. But imagine if you get this specifically for your business, it's worth it. It's more than worth it. So grab the spots. There's genuinely just 8 available because we can't give it to everybody who signed up. We had 300 people sign up.
Nah.
It's just not possible. So once the 8 are gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's us for today. Come tomorrow. It's my favorite day. And it's favorite for a reason. So
Yeah, but you guys your minds will be blown tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day you will be activated beyond belief. Okay, so if you guys aren't sure if this is going to work for you, just DM me. Okay, DM me or DM Alex. We're happy
Yeah.
to, because there's lots of little nuanced questions, and we'll tell you if not, right? Like, Alex and I are building this, and we've built this, and we don't need hundreds of new clients, right? We are very specific in the types of people that we can work with and that we know we can help, which is why we're not just blanketly selling you the ecosystem and the done for you model. We don't know, right? We could have all of you just sign up and but we don't, this isn't how we work. And this is what Alex and we vowed when we started co-creating together, that we're not going to be those people, right? We're not going to be those people that are going to sell you a dream and not tell you the backstory. We're not going to be those people where if we don't think we can help you, we're going to convince you to buy from us. That's why we're doing constraint analysis. We want to understand your business. If we can help you, we'll show you what the data looks like. We'll show you what the numbers get to look like. Based on the data, can we grow your business? Yeah. Hey, Alex, do you want to pop your... Don't go yet! No. Do you want to pop your... Oh, hi, Jamie. Do you want to pop your DM or your details, both of our details in the chat, and then they can DM us? Just on Facebook. Are you guys in the Facebook group? Yeah, if you guys are in the Facebook group, just add us on Facebook and DM us. Okay? So, working in the ecosystem, like I said, it's based on the data. It's based on what we know your business, how we can position, like all of it. So we start here. We start with constraints. You walk away knowing exactly how to move forward in your business on your own. That's what you're. This is the lowest, best investment you will make this year in your business, hands down. Okay, hands down, with a money back guarantee. I feel so like salesy when I say, and you're gonna get steak knives. No, I'm kidding. The money back guarantee thing. But this is how sure I am. Like, I'm so confident. I'm so confident in what you're going to walk away with this. But we there are only 8 spots. Yeah, that's fine. Facebook Messenger. Yeah, Facebook Messenger is fine. All right. So 8 spots. They go. They will go. They go every time. Lowest risk investment versus the value you're going to get. Okay. This is all we're pitching throughout this whole thing. So this is it, right? This is it. And tomorrow, please be on, you guys. Please be on. Tomorrow, your minds are going to be blown out of the water. I promise you. I promise you. All right. Unless you have any other questions, please be on tomorrow. It'll be worth it. That is it from us.
Amazing.
That is it from us.
Thank you so much. Lovely to see you all. Bye.
Bye.